Have you ever knowingly or purposely landed off the mark, creating suffering for yourself or others? Creating tremendous suffering from a perspective lacking in awareness is one thing. Willfully choosing to engage in a harmful behavior is another. Since your soul is always aiming for the bullseye of loving, it would not be in your own highest good to purposely choose to head in a direction that will knowingly create more pain or suffering for all involved. And yet, sometimes in our lives, that is simply what we choose to do. Purposefully, willfully, willingly, knowingly head in the opposite direction of our soul's urgings. When this happens, we end up in hell. From my own personal experience, I have learned that hell is of a person's own making. I was in my own state of hell a few different times in my life. The best advice I ever heard was a quote I read on a t-shirt that read, "If you find yourself in hell, keep going," by Winston Churchill. This is excellent advice, and in fact, the only real solution. Hell is an experience of feeling a complete separation from spirit, which includes feelings of tremendous pain, suffering, self-judgment, doubt, fear, and despair. It feels like getting placed in total darkness, cut off from the light, cut off from God, cut off from the source of loving. It's a state of hopelessness. It feels as if you've been abandoned and cast out in the dark to rot alone. Finding yourself in hell is neither good nor bad from your soul's perspective. It is just one particular place or state along the path of your journey. Understand that there is no condemning or judgmental God that has put you in that place. It is only your own behavior and your own self-judgment that has gotten you there. There's a delightful series of documentaries on the BBC of the history of art led by an enlightened nun named Sister Wendy, describing a scene from a painting of Dante's Inferno. She says, with this mischievous twinkle in her eye, "Notice how no one is pushing them. They're literally throwing themselves into the fire." I love that part for two reasons. Because it is so true, first of all. And second, because not very many spiritual teachers are willing to enthusiastically and directly state the truth that we each have to take our own personal responsibility for getting ourselves there if we happen to end up burning in hell. In an earlier blog, I had talked about the consequences of our behavior being equal to our level of conscious awareness when choosing to ignore our internal guidance. To get to the true depths of hell, I had to knowingly and willfully go against my inner guidance, my own feeling barometer, and my own discernment of truth. When I willfully decided to ignore what I knew to my bones to be my on-course direction, and instead chose to jump off course in a direction that was definitely, clearly, and even blatantly going against my highest good. This is when the consequences of my behavior I experienced as a result of my choice became the toughest. I found myself literally burning in a hell of my own making. A state of hell can be likened to finding yourself in a particularly challenging level of a video game. Faced with a degree of difficulty you've never previously encountered, you may be wondering, am I going to be able to survive this? Your video character may need to crash and burn a few times, maybe even die and start all over again from level 1. That is okay in the video game. And it's also okay in life, too. And while you may feel like it will kill you, once you're conscious, You don't need to die in a state of hell. You just need to complete the current level that you're on to start climbing out of that dark pit into the light. Landing in hell along somewhere in your life's journey is neither right or wrong, good or bad. It's simply one choice, one experience on the full spectrum of full free will choice. Have you ever experienced a state of hell? Or are you experiencing one currently? If you are currently experiencing a state of hell, don't despair. Yes, you can and will survive. A state of hell is never permanent. Just like in our current penal system, you can get a lighter sentence and early release for good behavior. The faster you forgive yourself and begin to be gentle with yourself, the faster you will release yourself from your own internal state of hell. Conversely, if you get so down on yourself that you're simply perpetuating the punishment with self-judgment, self-bludgeoning, negative self-talk, you could stay imprisoned for life. Understand that this is simply a choice. If you willingly choose to perpetuate your self-inflicted punishment and stay in a state of hell, your soul would just have to work toward freedom in another lifetime. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to be born in hell, it may be because they just needed to pick up where they left off. If you find yourself in a state of hell of your own making, I say choose joy over suffering by choosing freedom. Stop inflicting this self-punishment by being kind and gentle to yourself. Say no to temptation right now. By doing so, you'll be choosing to align yourself with your own soul's will, which will direct you straight out of hell and accelerate your growth on your personal path to self-realization. Say, a state of hell is a choice. I can choose freedom at any time. Action step. To get out of a state of hell, simply apply compassion liberally. Choose to get on course by saying no to ego-based temptations and saying yes to following the will of your soul. Declaration. A state of hell is of my own making. I always have the power to liberate myself. By forgiving myself and getting back on course with what I know is in my highest good, I can now view my learning neutrally and end the needless self-punishment. Many blessings of joy and vibrant freedom.